Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And we have yet another amazing guest this morning, a ER nurse, my friends, ERRN, who is going to be sharing with us the secret to finding your target audience. She's set up in a beautiful position this morning right in front of a whiteboard, and Lord knows I love a whiteboard. Let's please help me with a warm wake up legendary welcome. Help me welcome Jamie to the show. Hey, Jamie.
Hi.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. I got my coffee and my whiteboard.
I love a whiteboard. I mean, for me, a whiteboard is the perfect prop. Now, you know, I I'm feeling like I need a whiteboard here somewhere. Maybe I'll go out and get mine here just to feel on the same page. But do you always use props when you go live? And do you find that using props or when you shoot videos helps you to either get across your message or just feel more comfortable to have something to do with your hands?
Mhm.
What is it about for you?
It took me a minute to get here. When I first started going live, I was on my health and wellness, so I was on my treadmill, just with my phone, doing that thing. And then I, in my heart, I like education, and
Hmm.
I tend to use my hands, and I love teaching. So I ended up going to this, and it gives me it's the prop, but it also keeps me in line.
Yeah.
So it keeps me progressing because when you're on lives, you have questions and questions, and you got to answer the questions, and you're like, where was I at? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I totally get it. And I have, been, um, you know, doing this for long enough that I could still lose my spot. I mean, I think you get better over time, but a whiteboard, man, or any sort of prop is such a great way to capture people's attention.
Mhm.
For me, I just posted a video on Instagram the other day about using humans as props. Like having an interview, not to dehumanize humans. It's just an example. There's so many different props or things that you can use. Oprah, how did she get famous? Well, she had a talk show where her set was a few chairs. Her props were, what was going on in the audience. You think that audience was just like the that those people were there on purpose to give contrast and context and additional just interesting visuals for the show.
Yeah.
And so, you know, props can be a number of different things.
Mhm. And I don't use this all the time. Sometimes I do. If I have time, I'll just do an impromptu where I'm making an easy meal, and I'm like, okay, let's try a live this time and see what happens. And
Yeah.
it's always great, and people have questions and they always chime in. It's just sometimes I just do stuff and I'm like, I can't think about it. I just got to do it. See what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, coming up with a lesson every time you shoot a video to break down on a whiteboard is not ideal,
Mhm.
especially nowadays with so many short form videos. But even having it in the background is just like, yo, don't make me use the whiteboard and bust some nuggets out on you, you
Yeah.
know? So talk to us a little bit about how you got started. I mean, you've gone, tell us how you found, tell us what led you to wanting to have an online business in the first place and a little bit about what you're doing.
Okay. Um, so I mean, we can go back a long time, but I've been an ER nurse since 2007. Did travel nursing since 2010 to try to, get out there and see what's happening. But um, I've always been in the health space. So even in high school, I loved health. I love biology. I love the body. I love PE, like all these things. So naturally, before I became a nurse, I did a lot of uh, health coaching and stuff like that. I got a health coach certification. I attempted on my own to do online health coaching. The certification that I received, they actually had a business side of it to help me. So I learned some of the email marketing and kind of they didn't go into a lot of detail, but that was very difficult for me because I don't do IT. Technology is awful for me. So that was back in like 18, 19, and then COVID hit, and then that went on to the wayside and did all that. Once I left, I ended up leaving nursing for a different reason to help myself. So I had issues from being in that profession. That toxic career led to a lot of issues. So I stepped away. Thankfully, my husband was like, just stop. It's okay. Just stop. I'm like, okay. So once I healed, and then I wanted to go back to my teaching and my health coaching. I'm like, okay. I see the need in the healthcare field. There's a lot of lack of education and not the bright priorities in healthcare. I don't want to go into that, but so that's where I started. I was like, okay, I need to get back into this. How am I going to do that? Because I don't want to go back to what I did, because that caused me to have migraines trying to figure out the tech stuff. So I'm one day scrolling, what do you call it? Scroliosis on TikTok. I don't know who the girl was. I have no idea her name. She, you know how things start coming up once you start putting in that you want to start an online business. So you get all these things. And she was, whatever her hook was, it hooked me in. And I was like, $7. That was when, you had the 15-day business builder challenge. So I was like, all right, $7. Let's see what this is. And from the beginning, I was like, yeah, this is what I'm missing. From day one, when you started, I was like, oh, that's what I was missing. And then it just continued from there, and had the discussion with my husband. I was like, I feel like this is the route I need to go. Like, this is the education that I need to get this going. And he was like, do it. So I bought the blueprints, and that was a year and 5 months ago. So here I am. You're muted.
I'm technically challenged. I'm technically challenged here.
I know. Me too.
I think that people think that, even, you've been doing this for a certain amount of time. You have no technical challenges. I still consider myself somewhat, technically disabled. Have you discovered that you don't have to be a technical genius to do this? And what did you learn throughout the challenge and the blueprints that you do need in order to be successful? Like, how did your perspective shift? What breakthroughs did you have in order to help you to launch?
Your fishing formula was one to try to figure. At that time, I didn't know who my target audience was. I knew I wanted to help people get healthier and lose weight. And then I seen a lot of the medical problems through the ER that I'm like, this is diet related. Let's fix some of these chronic problems. But I couldn't figure out like where I wanted to go. So that fishing formula, when you taught that, I was like, okay, this is breaking it down. I'm writing it down. Okay, let's start here. Then I just, started doing videos. I think it was in June of 23 when I launched my TikTok, and it took a while. Like I started putting videos up, and I was like, okay, this isn't really getting a lot of engagement. What if I do this kind of hook and maybe go this route? And then as I kept doing it and kept showing up, no matter what was happening, kept showing up, getting into your lives to have them help me look at my account, like, what am I doing wrong? Going by their advice, changing some things around. And it just, I got that one viral video on belly fat of all. How to belly fat was the key word there. I was like, oh, okay. And then comments. And that shifted me towards a different target audience that I didn't really realize the need there, but I seen it as comments were coming in, and I was like, okay, let's try this route. Is this going to help more people? And it just snowballed.
So you basically had you were able to niche down once you launched and started to put content out to an even more specific and targeted audience through looking at your comments and reading the feedback that people were sending you. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yeah. They they literally found me by the comments. So I kept looking at the comments and saying there's a theme here. And then in TikTok, I don't know about Instagram. I'm not a good Instagrammer. But
Mhm.
TikTok, when you look at your analytics, so I had that first viral video go. So I go in my analytics and they break down like what are the in your comments. This is the common words. This word has the most in your comments, and it was diabetes, diabetic. People kept asking, how do I get my sugar? How just questions about being diabetic, and I was like, okay. So there's people are having some lack of education there. So let me start doing videos on that. Like, your doctor told you you're pre-diabetic, but he just told you to lose weight. What does that mean? Let's talk.
Mhm.
And then that one went viral, and it just kept going. So they were coming to me, and then I was answering questions and snowballing from there to help people. And I was like, holy wow. Okay, let's
Yeah.
do this.
So like in the fishing formula where we talk about the like chumming the water, like to
Mhm.
get people to come to your boat, like if we think shark fishing, because that's kind of like one of the great examples. A lot of people don't know that most professional fishermen chum the water no matter what they're fishing for. So even if you're fishing for, you know, um, some sort of snapper or something. I'm thinking here in saltwater, we're cutting up or throwing bait in the water just to get them, just not even on a hook, just throwing them out there just to get them surrounding the boat. And what you're saying is that, you threw something out there that you weren't really sure they were going to like. And then they kind of came back and they loved it. And so then you kind of doubled down and kept throwing that same chum or that same bait out there, and it took off. And lo and behold, it was diabetes content. And wow, who would have thunk that
Mhm.
many people would be that interested? And so it's not just the health niche, right? Talk to us how you've narrowed it down even further. And instead of just like, I think so many people think when they think health, wealth, and relationships, which are the three big niches that we talk about in the training, you can't, it's not, it's not a good idea just to go into the health niche. It's a good idea to go into a specific targeted sub niche of that niche so you can really kind of become the go-to person for that specific kind of information, or people know what to expect from you, and also so you can earn their respect, right? So you're not
Mhm.
talking about 50 different things. Nobody can do that. Like human beings only have, so like we know each other. We're not like an expert at 50 different things. So talk to us about how, once you had that discovery, how have you zeroed in on that?
Uh, Going through the comments, I mean, that was key. So once you hit that pain point for somebody, you found the pain point. I answer every single comment, Dave. There could be 800 comments, and I'm on there every day getting people to like, know, and trust me because I want to help you. I give you valuable information. I want to help you, but I use those comments to reply with a video. Even though it's under the diabetes, for example, video, a diabetic on there saying, I also have high cholesterol. I also have this. Like, is this all connected? Yes. Yes, it is. And then I reply with a video on why insulin resistance can cause high cholesterol. And then I get a million comments under there, and that one goes. And it's just that I knew that's the kind of oh, I lost you.
No, I just brought
Oh,
up the screen here. Yeah.
oh, okay. I was like, something happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of, when I first started on TikTok, I wasn't sure. I did the fishing formula and I knew I didn't want to just, I was stuck in what you're saying, the health niche, but I couldn't figure out how I wanted to niche where I wanted to go. So I kept going through my head, like, helping women over 40 lose weight. And I'm like, that's really broad and that's not really who I just want to target. I actually want to help people get healthy from the inside out, like fix some of these chronic diseases. So, my very first video was talking about the healthcare field, like,
Mm,
being on medications, and maybe this isn't right. This is what I'm seeing in the emergency room, and we can fix a lot of these things if we fix our diet. So, it kind of started there, and then I worked my way as I kept posting. As I kept posting and people were reaching out, and I was, you know, just going from there. This is the direction I want to go. I want to help you get healthier on the inside, but not just lose weight. Um, that's kind of how it's just snowballed.
yeah. Well, I think that this pre-diabetes thing is kind of a hot topic because, like, you know, you g- when you go and get your physical or you go and get checked up, you may not be diabetic, but if you're in a certain range, they will tell you that you're pre-diabetic.
Mhm.
I had them tell me that once, and that's a shocking term, right? To hear when you think you're healthy. So this whole, for those of you who are thinking that, diabetes only affects a small amount of people or whatever, no, it's also the people that have been told that they're pre-diabetic that also are zeroing in loving this sort of conversation within your content.
Mhm.
And that is an example of finding a hot topic within your content. What's the hot topic that, is going to go viral? Because you nailed it earlier. Um, doesn't take but one video to blow your account up. You
Mhm.
really, in I think that's what you had mentioned earlier, and I think you have that video pinned there that got over 1 million views here on TikTok. Talk to us a little bit about, what things were like before and after that particular video, and what did you learn from that about going viral?
Well, learning hooks was that viral video. I actually went back to, I think it was Joanne, or you guys send example of hooks. So I went back to that, and as I'm going through my videos and seeing some of these pain points, I'm like, okay, I need a good hook. Let me go through these that you guys sent. How can I create one of these hooks in the niche that I'm in? And I ran with that one, and that was probably that 1 million video on pre-diabetes. And like you said, people have no idea. Uh, when I asked them, like, you were diagnosed with pre-diabetes, what did your doctor do? Did your doctor give you any advice? And all those comments were like, no, they told me to come back in 6 months. They told me to do this. So that was the conversation. So let's have a conversation. Let me explain to you what is happening on the inside. And that's where just my teaching and my passion for health just started coming out. And that's just kind of how it started.
Yeah.
Now, as I'm every time I get back on TikTok, I have the followings 200 plus every day, and I don't post a video every day anymore. Uh, I let that one go, and I spend my time answering comments, helping people, answering DMs, getting people to like, know, and trust me, getting people, they come back and like, oh my gosh, thank you. You're not a robot. You're
Mm,
a person. You're going to help me for free. And I'm like, yes, this is yes, I am a person and I want to help you. So I give a lot of value.
mm,
And and like I said, I don't post every day anymore. I let that video go, and
mm,
then I answer the comments. That's where my time comes in now. So that's the
mm,
difference. I don't spend every day making videos anymore. I go live as much as I can, and I answer comments on those videos. So that's the big difference.
Yeah. Well, good.
Time.
I mean, yeah, and that's great. I mean, turning, I think what a lot of people that you see have is a big audience, but they don't know how to monetize that audience. And so they just keep creating content. But people will really, they're looking for more solutions. They want to, once a human being learns from you or likes you, our typical default is, I want to support you, I want you to support me, I want to buy from you. So let's talk about how, you're already helping us to understand with the engagement piece how you monetize your audience in exchange value. You're giving them value, and now they want to pay you money, and they will pay you money. So what does your sales funnel look like, and how has that evolved since, over time? I know you have your own digital product, I believe. Talk to us about what that back end process looks like, and also kind of how do you, when you're answering questions, or even in your videos, how do you direct them to that link? You know, Essentially, I call it the transition. You transition from talking to directing traffic. Here's where you go next. Talk to us about that back end process a little bit from the transition on.
That definitely has evolved a lot. And the last, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, I was having issues with my link in the bio, and I was getting people to my link in the bio, but I wasn't converting. I wasn't
Mm,
converting as much as I thought I should be. I did create an online course, a ketogenic course that you guys taught me how to do. So I got that up and running, but I wasn't getting the conversion like I thought I should be because of all the traffic that I was sending there. So I
mm,
did get on one of your live a couple weeks ago. Actually, my husband's name is Dave, and I was like, I don't know why I'm not getting. He goes, hey, you remember that course you bought? Why don't you did you ask them how to do that? I'm like, oh yeah, let me
wow.
go back on their live. So that's where that started. Moved some things around, went to the link in my bio. He's like, you have way too much stuff in here. Let's get rid of all of this and really take people directly to what it is that you're offering and get rid of all this noise. So that's what I started a couple weeks ago, and it is improving. So I am getting more sales. How I direct people there, I give the value first. Yay!
I'm like, wow. Because you've mentioned a couple of times going back to the education, using what you bought. For those of you who are thinking about enrolling in our challenge, in our blueprints, there's so many clues to success here in this conversation about how to get unstuck. I mean, you bought, basically, we call it the blueprint for a reason, because just like when you're building a house and you're like, you're moving, you're throwing wood up, you're throwing drywall up, whatever it is, and it's like, damn, what do I do next? When a carpenter's throwing up walls on a construction site, he doesn't just go, what do I do next? Screw it. Boys, throw a wall up here. Let's get a wall. What does he do? I mean, I know I'm talking common sense here, but he goes to the blueprint. Oh, this is where it's almost like instructions on how to build the house, similar to, we picked that name very, very specifically and purposefully. And it comes with live coaching that I'm so glad that you mentioned, because sometimes we just need a little bit of feedback. Sometimes we just need somebody. It's not that you're going to a guru. It's not that you're going to, you know, confess your sins and, have this big spiritual, it's not like we're gonna lay hands on you and you're exorcise the demons out of you. It's just, hey man, I see that you got this link tree or stand store, whatever the hell you got, and it's got 15 things. why don't you just eliminate that? Like we teach good, 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 direct response marketing, one decision at a time, and just have one link with one decision for them to make. Because after all, if they knew what the hell they wanted and what they were doing, they wouldn't be on your page anyways looking for help. So you've got 15 options for them. They don't know what the hell to choose, so they just leave and go back to scrolling until they find somebody who can give them one step at a time. And
Mhm.
that's why we teach it the way that we teach it. And hey, I'd suggest that. And then you're like, brilliant, brilliant, and then you go and you do that, and then it's like, oh, snap,
Yeah.
we've improved, we're getting better stats, we're getting better conversions. It's like that is the game. And that is what the whole process is set up to look like. So thank you
Mhm.
for reminding us, because sometimes I think we get really off track. We get the as a nurse and a health coach, we get the dopamine and the adrenaline going during the sale. We're gonna
Mhm.
buy something. It's gonna be amazing. We're gonna change our lives. And then it's like the next day you wake up, that dopamine high is over, and it's like, I gotta do what? Work? I gotta do something? I don't want to do anything. I just want to buy shit. And I want things to happen. So I'm ranting here, but I think you get the point.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't happen overnight. I mean, I've been at this for a year and 5 months now since I purchased your blueprints. It just takes time.
Yeah.
And, you figure it out as you go, you try to hit those pain points and help people. So my value as far as my call to action, people DM me and they're like, I have prediabetes. What foods am I supposed to be eating? And I'll say, my spiel and give them some value. I'm like, did you grab my free ebook? Because I have a list of foods in there and sample meals that you can have. And then if you need more guidance, if you need more help, you'll also get information on my course that
Mm,
you and I can work together. And
mm.
there it is.
I mean, not easy. So simple.
Yeah.
So
I
simple.
was making it so hard when it didn't need to be.
Yeah. I mean, just that lead magnet is the free, it's the thing that should give them, that you should be able to send people to, that at the bare minimum they're willing to part ways with their email address over for,
Mhm.
because that's really the price.
Yeah.
It's free. It's just parting. So if you don't choose to buy the course today and work together, as you said, I can still follow up with you. I can still get in contact with you.
Mhm.
And you don't have to go into all that explanation there in the message, but that's the point, and that's the value exchange that happens there on that opt-in page. And yeah, I mean, sometimes people, because you've answered their message, will just go right ahead and buy, uh part vote with their wallet. And then other times they will take some time to receive some emails from you. How's your follow-up game been, and what's going on with your email list, and how are you nurturing the people who are on that list?
Um, I'm gonna give a shout out to you guys again. So when I first, a million years ago, when I first started my health coaching and kind of understood the email marketing automated thing, I had that going. When I started Legendary Marketer, I had, I think, 60 people on my email list. Since starting with you guys, I have over 2,000 people on my email list, which is mind blowing to me that there's that many people in there. But I have my email marketing. I have my health and wellness newsletters that aren't about metabolic problems or diabetes, because people just want health and wellness. So I have emails set up for sleep, for stress, for all of the health and wellness stuff, and they reply. Anytime somebody replies to me, I am answering. I don't care what it is. They say, "Thank you so much for the ebook. I'm really enjoying it." And that's it. I reply. You're
Mm,
very welcome. Please let me know if you have any questions.
mm,
Simple. Doesn't have
yeah.
to be a long. and then people do have questions about the ebook, or they do have questions on there, and I answer the question, give them value. And then also remember, I have a course that will teach you and progress this step by step, and you and I can work together one-on-one. I always, put that in there as well, because people do have a lot of questions, and I do answer a lot of those in the course. So
Yeah.
just that, give value, and then say, I'm always going to be here for you. You can always ask me questions, but if you want to do
Yeah.
this, here's this.
Yeah, I mean, giving that call to action is so important, and I think that's the piece that so many of us are hesitant to do when we first start, right? It's like we don't want to be too pushy, we don't want to be too salesy, but how did you overcome that? And did you have any uncomfortability or limiting beliefs around asking for the sale or giving a call to action? You mentioned earlier about hooks. What about calls to action? And was that a thing that you had to overcome and say, hey, no, I deserve to, receive, uh, value in the form of money for the value that I'm putting out and giving to the world? And then giving that call to action, has that become easier for you over time?
It was very difficult at the beginning. I felt sleazy, scammy, asking people to give me whatever. So I didn't have any monetary gain at the beginning. I just had my freebie to get into my email list. And in my email list, I had affiliate links, through Amazon or whatever. So that's how I started. Now, as my channel grew and I'm giving all the value and answering questions, actually, I'm going to shout out to my husband again, because I'm on here a lot answering questions and giving value and doing what I can. He was like, hey, you're giving a lot of information away for free. I was like, yeah, because I love doing this. I want to help people. He goes, yeah, but you got to make money. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Hold on. Give me time. So as I started building my brand, my channel, giving the value, and people are seeing in my comments, I'm answering it. Now I feel more comfortable. Now I feel, I've grown. I don't even know. I think I'm at 45,000. I don't even remember where I'm at right now. But I feel more confident now that I've been giving the value. I've been answering the questions. People can see it in my comments, and I'm a real person, and I really want to help you. Now I feel more confident saying, can you support me?
Mm,
Here's more information in my course that I created on my own. It's me, because a lot of people want that. In my lives and in my comments, and DMs, people ask me, how do I work with you? I love your content. I love how you're teaching. It makes sense to me. I want to work with you. I'm like, this is how you can work with me
mm,
in my course. Grab my course, it puts you in the community. You can ask me any questions one-on-one, all the things. So that's how it's evolved. I feel more comfortable asking now, giving
mm.
that action, giving that direction to support me. So
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful, and you're deserving of that, and I'm glad that you're feeling more comfortable with that, because that's what this is all about. Just as Elizabeth says, they are hunting you. That's the way. You know, uh, doesn't it feel good to be the hunted rather than the hunter?
yeah. Yeah,
You know?
it is nice to be hunted in this way.
Right.
uh,
Yeah.
and it's a confidence booster to know
Right.
how I'm delivering my content, like with the whiteboard. So some videos I have the whiteboard, some of the videos I don't. People learn in different ways. What I try to portray is putting it in a simple, easy way to understand it, and not do the nursing part of it where you're putting the big terms and doing all the things. Not everybody knows that.
Yeah.
That's not
Great
what
point.
you had to put it in. If I was never in the healthcare field, what would I want to hear? Like, how is this going to help me? And that's, what you have to
That
do. You, you just go with it. People are always asking, oh my gosh, that makes sense. So I listen to that. I listen to that. I'm like, okay, that makes sense to like 800 people who are commenting. They're like, this makes so much sense. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Let me know if I can help you. That's it.
That makes that right there is a big old platinum nugget, and not that you're not dumping a whole dump truck on us today, because you are. This is really, really, really valuable and really, really inspirational and educational. But this piece here about putting things in simple terms that people can understand, and not using jargon from the niche that you're in, technical jargon that the average person is not going to understand. You are you This can be the difference between connecting with a lot of people and not at all. um Oftentimes I think we have sometimes this tendency to overcompensate by wanting to use, you know big words. We want to sound smart. We want to, show how qualified we are, how much knowledge we have. And that's a mistake, because people don't know what the hell you're talking about. And so we use words and analogies and stories and explain things in a way that people can understand them. And that is going to move the needle so much. I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because even in my niche that I've been working in for nearly 15 years here is the marketing niche. There's so many different terms, terminology, things I could be talking about that are, going to go right over the average person's head. They're not it's not putting them in layman's terms. And so you got to put things in layman's terms for people to understand. And if you do that, as you say, it's going to just be a huge, huge gift to people, and a gift to you, because they're actually going to follow you. And part of, I'm sure, what they say to you, right, is that, wow, this really, like, you make it easy and simple to understand, right, Jamie?
Yeah. I can give people another tip on how I got to that, because it's hard for me to use layman terms sometimes, and
Sure.
I want to put that, education, those terms that people aren't going to know. I use that a lot in my course.
Mm,
So as I was creating my course and creating the lesson plans, I have the videos creating the lesson plans. As I was typing out my lesson plans, I'm like, are they going to understand what I'm saying? I feel like maybe I need to bring it down some. Having
mm,
my husband read it, and he's like, yeah, that, because he's an ER nurse as well. So he's like, yeah, this may be a little. I would copy my lesson plan, go over to Chat GPT,
mm,
put it in there, and ask it, can you put this in layman's terms for me?
mm,
And it will just go. And I was like, oh, really? And then obviously you read through it and correct anything, whatever you need to do. But I was like, that makes so much sense, how that changed what I was teaching into something somebody else could understand that has no idea anything about, health, wellness, anything. So that was a good tip for anybody who's stuck in that and trying to figure out how to do that. That was very helpful for me.
yeah, just overcomplicating, over explaining, using complicated terminology. It's really, uh, yeah, it's really a gift. I think, I don't know who said it, but it was some philosopher, or former, famous writer in our history, that said, you know anybody can complicate things, but brilliant people make things simple. you know it may have even been, I'm butchering it, but it's easy to make things complicated. It's complicated to make complicated things sound simple.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a gift. That's a real gift. It's a gift that, if you can develop that, obviously Chat GPT helping is you do it by whatever means necessary. If you can develop that over time, I'm speaking for all of us, if we can develop that ability to be able to just speak in layman's terms to people about our complicated topics, that's talent coming out and developing over time. And it's a gift to your audience to do that, because they actually get the value that you want them to get.
Yeah. That has evolved and it's gotten a lot better, for sure.
Yeah. So, Jamie, what have you learned about yourself through this journey over the past year?
Oh, um, patience. I don't have patience. I want things done, and I want them done today. And my husband can vouch for that. But learning for me to step back and look at things and be patient, but keep showing up. Even as a nurse, since 2007, being in the ER, even then I had a hard time. If any of my coworkers were listening, they're like, "Yeah," I had a hard time asking for help. Sometimes I want to do it all. I want to know everything. I want to know everything about my patients. I can do it. I can do it. And it was after a couple years of trying to do that, and you figure out you cannot do it all and you need some help. That coming into the online space, I had to remember that. Like, remember when you needed help, you need to ask for help. That's where your course came in. I have to, and my husband reminded me, remember, you need to ask for help. You don't know it all. You can't do it all. You need some help, and it's okay. That is okay. It doesn't mean that you're a awful person. It doesn't mean that you're not worthy. It doesn't mean that you're whatever.
Mm.
It's okay to ask for help and be patient. That's the two things that I have learned since starting this journey.
Mm.
Patience and ask when you're stuck.
Mm.
It's okay to ask.
Hello. And I don't know why it is so hard for us as, adults to ask for help. I mean, we want our children to ask for help. We often say that to them, ask for help, as they're sitting there, they want to do it. It's in our nature. We want to do it by ourselves. I watch my 3-year-old son. He wants to do it by himself. But at a sign of maturity is us asking for help. A sign of maturity is us welcoming help, asking for feedback, wanting people to look at our stuff and see, what are our blind spots? What am I missing? What did I not see? How could I improve? I'm open to feedback. That was one of the terms that I changed my life was when I learned to say, I'm open for feedback. Like it's such a nice way to say. It's such a respectful way to others and to yourself. See, we want to ask for help, but we don't want to devalue or degrade ourselves in asking for help. That's what we're afraid of. And so when I say to you, I'm open for feedback, I'd like to know your thoughts. I welcome them. I'd love to hear them. But just that simple term, I'm open for feedback, changed my life, because it was a way for me to ask for help, to let you know. Now, you want to give me your feedback anyways. I mean, we love to give our opinions. We love to help. I don't know about women, but men, we love to help. We love to solve problems, right? Isn't that the big thing? Y'all women just want us to listen, right? But we want to solve, right? Now, women like to solve too. And women like to give their opinions too. So when somebody lets you know that they're open for feedback, they're opening that door. And that's such a respectful way to ask for it. So it invites the person who hears that is to give that feedback, in a way that's respectful. And you know what? If somebody gives the feedback in a way that's demeaning or degrading, we know that's not a safe person to ask for feedback from. Simple. They're only going to get that one time. You're only going to get the opportunity, usually one time, to give somebody feedback to make or break their trust. And isn't it interesting? Dawn says, my biggest fear is to ask for help. Paul says, my biggest issue is asking for help. I wonder who else feels like that. Melissa says, me too. Worried to be judged, Dawn says. I get it. I get it. I get it. We don't want to be demeaned, degraded, disrespected, put down, felt to be small in asking for help. So, wow, Jamie, so many nuggets today, so much to relate to and learn from. Thank you for being you and taking all of this and running with it so you could come back and teach us here this morning. It's been a real pleasure. Love your setup. Love your husband, Dave, even though I haven't met him. Sounds like a great guy, great name. And come back and see me, okay, on the show in the near future, and let's do this again.
Okay, thank you.
All right, sounds
Bye.
good. Thanks, Jamie. Take care. Stay legendary, my friend. All right, my friends, you can find Jamie over on TikTok at Here's to Your Health. Okay, Here's to Your Health, all one word. Here's to Your Health. She's also over on Instagram at Here's to Your Wellness. Okay, she said that she's been building her TikTok much more over the last year, but she's also on Instagram. I am too, at David Sharpe _official. David Sharpe _official. All right, my friends, if you want to get started with the challenge blueprints, come to a mastermind. You can go to legendarymarketer.com /enroll. /enroll, ENROLL. You want to go right to our challenge, you can go to learnlaunchleadchallenge.com. Learn. It spells out exactly what we're going to do with you right in the domain name. Learn, launch, lead, challenge. You're going to learn it, you're going to launch it, you're going to become a leader. And we challenge you to do so. If you want a free complimentary accountability coaching call, email me at dave@legendarymarketer.com. This is a program we recently launched to help people stay accountable to launching, to implementing the things that we teach here at Legendary. It's very simple, not a whole lot to it except results. That's what we want to get you. Most of you have enough notes. You've been getting ready to get ready for long enough, and we want to help you launch, and we want to hold you accountable to getting results. So if you want a free complimentary accountability coaching call, email me at dave@legendarymarketer.com. I'd be happy to help you to CC in our accountability coach or one of our accountability coaches here. I've interviewed a few of them here on Wake Up Legendary, Bonnie, Eric, Dawn. So you can meet them and have that free accountability coaching call. I know that will be helpful to you. One more time, Jamie over on TikTok, Here's to Your Health. Here's to Your Health over on TikTok. And you can find her on Instagram as well. Here's to Your Wellness. You can find me on Instagram, David Sharpe _official. All right, my friends, as we get on out of here, one last housekeeping piece. I'm going to put this link for you all to subscribe to our notification list to get a little messenger notification every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time on Facebook when we go live here on Facebook. You can click that link right there in the comments. I'm going to drop it in 3 times. It's legendarymarketer.com /WUL and stands for Wake Up Legendary, and we'll give you a notification every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time when we go live. With that being said, thanks so much, Jamie, for an amazing episode. So many nuggets, so much gold. Oh my gosh. Worth a re-listen, my friends. Like seriously, so good. Thank you so much for being a rock star and implementing. Jamie, total rock star, an amazing episode this morning. With that being said, my friends, have a fantastic day. Get out of here. We'll see you back here tomorrow for another episode. Peace.